Revoice Podcast Network. The mic is ours.
Welcome back to the Bad Attitude Podcast, where we document the creative prowess behind local VCU artists and better understand their craft. I'm your host, Brett Coleman, and in this episode, we continue our conversation with VCU freshman Leigh Johnston about her genesis of art, her experience at VCU so far, and more on our new episode. It was interesting to interview them about why art and creativity is so important to them. They are at a beginning point for their time at school and creative networking compared to our other guests. When we conversed, I really got a sense of them achieving everything they wanted with their future in Richmond. What was the genesis of your artist inspiration, I would say?
I think it's always been there. It's kind of like if I tried to look back on how long I've been doing art, I think it's really just been consistent. Like the oldest sketchbook I have goes all the way back to elementary school. We don't talk about the art in there. But I think the main thing that kept it going was that art class I went to. I appreciate that teacher more than I could ever say. No amount of thank yous would be enough to her. Starting at a young age to cultivate that passion is important. I think I took her class at as young as you can go. She goes as young as first graders, and I think that's when I started at her class. And then every year since, until I could no longer go to her class, I kept making art there and I kept meeting her, and now I was able to help her, and I can hopefully do the same for kids. So I think it's less of a genesis and more of a cultivation of keeping it going.
Keep practicing, keep putting in the work. I definitely get that. That's what I feel about music. I'm always trying to put time into music and just working with audio in general. What is your creative process like when making art? Are you listening to music or a podcast? Maybe full attention towards your project? What is it?
So I'm certainly the classic TV show and art person. I just kind of get into the zone. Usually I have an idea. It depends on the project. If I'm for the children's book, I storyboarded on paper and then I transition to digital art. If it's more personal things, I'll a project I'm working on right now, it's a redraw of some old art I did a quick sketch, and then when it came to the outfit, I looked up some concepts because there's no shame in looking up for some references. Really just going for it. There were multiple times in high school I'd get in bed and I'd start drawing, and then my mom would walk in and be like, "Why are you sitting in the dark?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? There's sun." "Oh, nope, it's night." You focus in, and then all of a sudden you're sitting in the dark.
It's the dedication just towards creating an art form and just going for it. Yeah, I definitely get that. Staying up late, working on it. When you look at your type of art you create, are there certain colors that resonate to you more than others? What colors would you say stand out, not just in your work, but in your worldview?
I guess to start with favorite colors, I like silver and blue. In the character I made for myself, she's got silver jewelry and lots of blues and stuff. I'm very much I prefer pastels. Not many of my works have very neon bright colors. Maybe one day I'll challenge myself to make one with bright colors. My friends have told me that the styles I go for clothes with my characters are usually they're Victorian-esque, I guess. So more muted tones, more regular tones. I certainly love making bright, shiny things, bright eyes, shining clothes, star effects. If you checked out my Instagram, there's one where she's catching this giant star, and so bright versus muted, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you're kind of touching all the bases there, which is pretty cool artistically. Last week we had one of my bandmate Cooper Ludwig, and he was talking about how he will base everything off of primary colors, but instead of using red, he'll use pink. And that's something I thought was so interesting, because now that I see it,
in all his work, I can really see it stand out. Like, he always uses that color pink. So it's little things like that like just talking about too, like when I interview people, is very interesting. So this is your first semester at VCU. How would you say your time at VCU is going so far?
It's been great. I love all my classes. The only art class I've really taken before this was art in my freshman year, which was during hybrid learning. And then because I was doing the second school thing, I didn't have room for an elective after that. So there was like my media communications class, but that was about it. So the classes here have been really great. The professors have been amazing. I love my art history class. That's been fascinating. It's the classic thing of like people being like, that won't fly in college, and it's like they don't care. The professor left before I did the other day. Like.
That's exactly it. You mentioned art history. I took an art history course a few years ago. It was pretty cool. It was all online, but then the final project, our professor had us go to the VMFA and do a scavenger hunt in the VMFA.
Professor Schaefer?
It might have been Professor Schaefer. I'm not. It was so long ago. It was like 3-4 years ago. But are you guys doing that at all?
He only does exams and quizzes as extra credit. And one of the quizzes, he wanted us to go to the VMFA. So I went there with a friend. It was the second quiz and it wasn't due until like months later, but we went and it was really pretty. Straight up, I told my parents like, hey, if you guys visit, we should go check this place out. Plus it's free.
They even have like some really cool exhibits. I remember last year I went, they had some, I think it was called Stories of Strings exhibit for like guitar, and it had like the history of guitars. It was pretty cool. And then this past year they had, I was really mad I missed it. They had like a samurai exhibit of like samurai art and everything. I did not get to make it. I was really mad, but yeah, VMFA definitely has so much to do something while you're there. You can look at so many different types of art. You can look at the Fabergé eggs. You can look at whatever. It's like really cool. They have such a diverse choice. Also fairly new to Richmond. How's Richmond treating you in general?
It's been good. It's been loud. Like I said, I'm from Charlottesville, so really only an hour and 15 minutes away. But we never really came and explored Richmond. So being able to really look at it's been interesting. Since I'm in the honors college, I have to take the Students of REA class, so that's kind of helped with like learning a bit more about the history. Certainly a city. The grossest thing I've seen was a rat cut in half.
Oh, there's a lot of random stuff out there for sure. You said you're in the honors college?
Yeah, don't really know how.
But honors college, that's pretty cool. That's definitely like a good challenge, like putting more on your plate with your time at VCU, because I feel like it's definitely what you get what you want out of college. You can put in all the work or you can put in no work. It's however much you want as a student and as a person. So we're probably going to start wrapping it up, but so where can we find your works of art at?
So you can mainly find me on Instagram at fellowhuman. Currently, you can't really find me anywhere else, but that might change. You might be able to find me in bookstores soon. But yeah, I do commissions. I love making, the main thing the way I like to put it is I like making people's ideas real. There's nothing better than seeing someone get so excited about seeing their vision come to life. And that's probably a testament to what I want to do later in life. But yeah, currently only Instagram.
And thank you so much for meeting with us, Leigh. We really appreciate it. Hope you have a good one. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening. Follow Revoice on Instagram at Revoice Network. Bad Attitude is exclusively a product of VCU's Revoice Network. While you're at it, go check out Common Talk and Podline for more Revoice content. Are you a VCU creative looking to expand your audience and showcase your work? Reach out to us on Instagram at badattitude_revoice to be a guest on our show, or if you want to collaborate with our group. Thanks.